Hi, it's Scott. ROCKFILE back with another podcast review. Going to talk about the 2023 Indian 2024 U.S. release, Kill. It's the first time that an American company, Lionsgate, bought the rights to an Indian Hindi language film and released it in the United States. It only played on about 100 theaters. I don't even think it played here, or maybe it played for a week. I don't think it actually played here. I remember seeing trailers for this movie earlier in the year and wanting to see it. I'm an action movie aficionado. Of course, I'd want to see a movie that bills itself as the most violent and gory film India has ever produced. Now, I've seen a few Indian films. I'm not the biggest fan of like Bollywood musicals and stuff, but they've done some action films, including that one, the name escapes me, that was on Netflix a couple years ago that was just completely over the top. Yeah, and that was very well done for what it was. It was very much an over-the-top action movie that was more a cartoon than anything, but it was a lot of, I watch a lot of movies, and if I'm entertained, especially rewatching a movie a second time, if I can park my brain, so to speak, and I'm not saying watching a dumb movie. I mean, even on watching, a Christopher Nolan film. But if I can lose myself in that world for an hour and a half to 2 hours, I'm happy with the experience, no matter if it was a experience that I was expecting, if that makes any sense. And I've come to realize that modern trailers give away too much, and I'm watching less trailers. But anyway, long story short, this was a movie I wanted to see in theaters. It finally got a release. Amazon has a steelbook, 4K, that was put up on the original pre-order for $10 less than it's going for now when it was released. So I've noticed Amazon has done that a couple times, and I wish more companies would do that. Give us a price cut on somebody who really wants the movie, and then, when it comes out, you can have the normal price. But Best Buy used to do that a lot. Pre-order price was cheaper than what you would pay on the day it was released. So the movie, if you're not into subtitles, you're not going to dig this one. Although the back of the film says it is English Dolby Atmos, it is not. It is Hindi Dolby Atmos, and a really good soundtrack, actually. But there is some English in the film, just the natural way they speak. They will go back and forth a lot of foreign language movies do that now. English phrases like, I won't leave you, or I'll come back for you, or whatever, they actually say in English instead of whatever the language is. I've seen it in multiple movies recently. So this is the first serious Hindi language movie I've watched. I mean, other than a drama or two, right? And it plays out with less of the melodramatic flair that a lot of Indian productions have, or at least the ones I've seen. This is very gritty, very down to earth, very realistic. Takes place mostly on a train. The effects are mostly good. And it's an action film, a really well done action film that gave me actual emotional responses to scenes. Some good and some bad. There's one murder in the film that is just so extended, it seems like it's brutal. I mean, it just goes over the top, but I don't mean in the violence of it. I mean, just in dragging the scene out for the person it's happening to. Anyway, I don't want to give away spoilers to this film. The only spoilers I will say is you get about 10 to 15 minutes of exposition. We kind of know who our main characters are through some interactions. We've got a guy coming back from some military service. He wants to be engaged and marry this woman who her father is making her be engaged to somebody else. This is something that's pretty alien in our culture, but it's very interesting when you see it in another one. And like I said, it's not done with that melodrama that you find in a lot of foreign films. This very much feels like an American film, even though it's Hindi language and filmed in India with Indian stars. Anyway, Laksha, who stars in the movie, this is his first role, first theatrical role. He was in an Indian TV series playing some kind of warrior. I've never seen it. But for this to be his first film, this dude's going to be a star. Not only is he a good action guy, but he could emote. He can actually do the heavy emotional scenes. And there's some gut punches in this movie. What made this better than your average action flick that releases straight to video, stays theaters in a week, and you really don't hear much about it, this has real emotional stakes, real raw emotional stakes. I made it through 45 minutes of the movie going, wow, this is, I mean, if this guy's going to be that Bruce Willis kind of character, that guy who triumphs over all the bad guys kind of thing, he's really taken a beating. But there's kind of a twist to it. And about 45 minutes into the film, they put up the title card. Yeah, the movie just starts, and then 45 minutes in, it goes kill, and then you realize what you're really in for. It is the most violent and goriest film ever produced in India of what I've seen and heard. I would totally agree with that. It is just under some of the gore in most of our horror films. I would say it's a hair gorier than John Wick. I mean, it's pretty, there's a lot more knives and a lot less guns because of the culture and the situations and that kind of thing. So the gist of the movie is, like I said, we're introduced to the characters and they all happen to get on a train. There's a family of good guys and a big family of bad guys, and the two meet in some pretty major ways, and things happen. And of course, there's a bad guy you really want to die very badly, who we're not going to get to that till the end because it's an action movie. But other than that, there's a lot of surprises. The movie goes in some places I didn't think it would go. And I was entertained because I got to the edge of my seat in a couple things going, how is he taking that beating, or how is this happening? And then they kind of show you. Like I said, the effects are mostly good. There was a couple things outside the train that you could tell it was green screen. But for the most part, like the action in the train, they built a train to be able to do this. If you're going in to see a movie like The Raid, it is kind of that, somebody getting through overwhelming odds, but there's more story not only to the movie but to the fight scenes. It is not just brutality for brutality's sake. It's brutal, but if you like action movies, you're going to find something to enjoy. If you like action movies with a bit more emotional drama in them, you're really going to dig this film. Like I said, here's something about the 4K I've never seen before in any of the hundreds or thousands of movies I own. When you select language, it says Hindi with English subtitles burned in. That means if you watch it in Hindi language, you are going to have English subtitles, whether you like it or not. There are people out there who can probably speak Hindi that would like to turn that off. I'm sure there's a Hindi release of this film. For me, I always like to see a foreign film in the original language and subtitles. And if it's a movie that I've seen more than once, then I'll watch it dubbed. But the dubbing is usually bad and not up to the full, original language version of the film. And this one I was glad, because it was a movie I watched recently, I think on streaming, that it was forced English language. Sometimes that's just not very good because they don't spend the time and the money to do it right on minor releases. I don't know what the budget with this was because it's in Indian, and I don't know how much that exchange rate is. It's pretty alien culture to me for the most part, but I did have an Indian friend when I lived on Grand Cayman. She helped run a mail forwarding service and really filled me in on a lot of culture, especially the spirituality aspects and stuff. It was we had some very interesting conversations when I pick up my packages. Anyway, long story short, the twist of the movie is it is a modern bullet train, John Wick kind of revenge action movie, but it's done with Indian actors in Indian, Hindi language, but really well done. The fight scenes are incredibly well choreographed. They look very realistic. The star, being in his first movie, worked out for 9 months on the martial arts and eating right and bulking up. He really looks great with his shirt off. I mean, if that matters to you. But he looks like someone who could pull off some of the things he pulls off. And he's, I would also say there's a little Zissou in this because he's got determination. And all in all, like I said, I can't get into spoilers, but I had visceral, very raw reactions to some of the scenes in the movie that propelled me to watch the movie further. Not a dull moment in the film. Even in the opening exposition, you're learning stuff. That was the best thing about it. And again, dropping in and out of English was also very interesting to me. How much English do they use in their regular stuff? Was this done just for the movie, or is this regular cultural stuff? I don't know. I've never been to India, but maybe one day. So if you're looking for an action film that is subtitled, but the action is what we tune in for, this is a good one. Lionsgate has taken it in the shorts with a lot of recent movies. Most recently, The Killer's Game over the weekend made almost no money. Borderlands was a flop. What was the other one? Yeah, Lionsgate has just not been hitting them out of park. And yet this one hit theaters in July, now is out on home video, and they're not really promoting it. It's the best of those movies that have come out this summer from that company. Again, they were the first company to ever take a Hindi language film and release it in the United States theaters. I think that's pretty amazing and speaks volumes for how well done the film is. But it is what it is. But man, I'm ready to watch it again, actually, talking about it. And it surprised me. And you've heard in many of my podcasts, surprising is good. So before I get into any more spoilers about the film, you want to go see a Hindi language film with a bunch of action on a train, some brutal, almost horror movie level action, you're really going to dig the film. I don't know that it's going to wind up in my top 10 of the year, but as action films go, when friends come over, this is going to be that movie that you have in your collection that most people haven't seen. And you go, oh, I had that same experience with Zissou. A lot of people never saw that movie. I can pull it out with a lot of different people and go, check this out. I think you're going to dig it if you like this kind of stuff. It's that kind of movie. If you like Zissou, if you like John Wick, if you like revenge films, and you don't mind some subtitles, Kill is a very good action movie, and it's available now. 4K, I believe there's a Blu-ray release as well. The Steelbook, I believe, is an Amazon exclusive. Got some more 4K stuff to talk about, movies and technology. I'm very excited about it. That'll be coming up in upcoming podcast. Sorry, it's been a while since my last one. Have a spectacular day. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links below. Definitely a like and a subscribe is awesome. Very much appreciate it. Have a great one.